Good evening. We have another lecture for you. I'd like to get your utmost of attention on this lecture. This lecture is entitled The Great American Migration, 2019-2020. This is a very important time of human history, a time that we must pay a lot of attention to. We are about to have election coming up in next year, and you need to know these things. You need to know what God is doing in America today, what God is preparing to be done in America today. It's very important. Now, what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to go down and look at this donation area. I want to talk about that a little bit, then go into the lecture. Louis Armstrong Ministry, you can donate to 7536 Jana Lane North, Jacksonville, Florida. You see, we're not demanding tithing or anything like that, but we are asking individuals to send, if you've been a tithe payer, send a certain amount to this organization. And we believe in tithing, don't get me wrong, but we believe that that's something that is to build itself into what it's supposed to be. Although we tell you many times, when you pay your money to the government, you're actually paying tithings. You're paying a percentage for the welfare of the peoples in the nation, etc. Now, if they decide to take that money and spend it on military-industrial complex and some other stuff, then you, as individuals who carry the cross philosophy, who believe in the cross philosophy, need to send out your word and your message, of the laws that we have. We are a democratic nation, and you must understand, mean a democracy, and that means the people rule, not the corporation rule, the people's rule, and we need to put out more energy in that part of the cross, the political part of the cross philosophy. Think about that now. But making donations to Louis Armstrong Ministry, to Cross Rock Incorporated, you can go on the mobile app at GiveLify and on the charitable and make the donation, please. Also, the book. We have individuals have sent some money in, but we need a lot more people. We need a lot more because we need to, we're trying to get 30 more individuals to send $500. Your name will be in this book, and we're going to appreciate you and show you how much love we could give you in this book. We're going to fix it where not only your name, but I'm going to try to put a few words of get you to communicate with me so you can put a few words that you like to be left behind and memorialized in the book. So we're going to do some things for you because of your kindness to this contribution. It's very important. We need to get this information out so the individuals could grab this book, they can read this book, study this book, and they can know more what does say the Lord. It is very important. And this is your participation, helping to get the word out that the people could be able to read it and see God's working among his peoples and see what God say about this particular time of human history. It's very important. Now, the Great American Migration. Most people will think about a migration like they have talked about a migration with some of the people leaving Central America, South America, and moving up into other areas, and some of them coming to the West Coast, Texas, and California, some other places, So you hear these different things happening. You hear them happening a lot of times. You hear migrations in Africa and all that, Kenya and some Zimbabwe and all the other places over there. But what we're talking about now, we're talking about what this book centers around. Although God is the God of the world, we have to get America straight, the most powerful nation in the world. We got to let America see itself. So America be what it's supposed to be, so we can move this nation and move this world forward. It's nothing wrong with, people look at different things and say, well, I don't like this part, I don't like that, and I don't know about democracy. There's nothing wrong with democracy if the democracy is being used properly. I spend a lot of time listening to various tapes and various YouTube videos on the scholars and some of the other peoples, and I started hearing these various thoughts. And I just took the word democracy and looked it up all over again and started from there, the word, and started seeing a lot more to it than what it was. Now, I know sometimes you break the word down and it may say something different from what you want to hear, but right now I want to deal with democracy as it is written. How the founding fathers, some of the others wanted to walk in that stage of democracy. And you need to understand that. There's nothing wrong with democracy if democracy is being practiced properly. And this is what this great migration is going to be about. Because America is not following democracy like it should. And we're going to go into the scripture and then we'll break this down. And so you can see where we're coming from. Okay. In Ezekiel 36, 23 to 24. And I will sanctify my great name. Now, you hear this? I will sanctify my great name. Now, most people know that we talk about thought, the Lord God thought in the Bible. We don't use the term like some people will say Jesus is this and Jesus is that. We look at Jesus as Horus. Jesus is an individual that presides in the heaven. Jesus is an individual that, the word Jesus is a code name. Okay, and all this. We need to understand these things and understand who Jesus is, a heartfelt Jesus. The one that God Almighty has put there for us to look forward for a great day and a change in our world. And Jesus is for that. Jesus is that type of individual to bring the changes, to take his crown and hand it down to a person here on earth so they can rule and dominate this world in what they call unity and integrity. That's very important, people. Understand the word unity and integrity. People tell you about love, but love have about 4 or 5 different meanings to it. But unity and integrity sum up love. And you need to understand that. If someone is unified with me with integrity, I don't want to care about your love, okay? You automatically gave me your love when you give me unity and integrity. That's very important. When I was in the pyramid and I came out of the pyramid, in the king's chamber praying and went to bed that night, that's what God brought to me, unity with integrity. That's what we have to have. That's what ancient Egypt gave me to give to the masses of the peoples of my audience. Let them know about unity with integrity. That's very important. And that's what democracy is to be about. And we need to understand that. And the more we understand it, we can move forward and we'll understand how certain things taught in our system is damaging to us if it's not used properly. Especially when they use capitalism, you got to understand there's 3 ways of seeing capitalism. There's corporate capitalism, there's regional capitalism, and there's penny capitalism. And we need to know that. We need to know where capitalism came from, and then we will know where Marxism come from. Because a lot of people, they talk about capitalism, they separate capitalism from Marxism, but you have to understand that the ones who created capitalism is the ones that knew about Marxism, because they knew the pros and the cons of capitalism. So they brought you capitalism, and and then later on called Marx, brought you Marxism, was another part of capitalism that they did not tell you about. And see, you need to learn this stuff so you'll know what's really going on. You know, fascism and all that. You need to learn about this stuff so you know what's going on. But the main thing is keeping you on that path in which God has sought for you to be on. There's only one reality, as is written, and that's the reality of Allah. That means that's the angelic name for God the Almighty. The reality of Allah. And the one who comes teaching the reality of Allah is his chief, the main one, the what they call the priest. The priest and king under the Most High, Melchizedek, which is thought. We need to see this. Now, what you're going to see Ezekiel saying, and I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathens. Now, we have not heard no one talk about, now the Catholic Church do it under the cover, but we have not heard of no one talking about thought in this, with this Bible until this ministry came. Okay, no one talk about thought in the Bible. They talk very little about Melchizedek. Melchizedek is thought in the Bible. Thought has been written all over the Bible, but he's been hidden from you. If you don't have the keys, if you don't understand Hebrew typology, if you're not tied in the higher echelon of priesthood knowledge, then you won't know about thought. You'll read as Abraham say, as he say to Moses, I am that I am. And you'll think he's talking about I am. No, he's talking about I am thought. T-H-O-T, not that. That is capitalized in that also. If you turn to it, you'll see it's capital. Why would you make that capital? Oh, because I am God, so any word in between there should be capitalized with the other I am. No, people. Thought is there. I am thought, I am. And that's what Moses asked. Tell us. Tell me, who must I go back and tell the children of Israel? Must I go back and tell those individuals that I have, who tells them about who sent me? And thought told him, I am thought, I am. And we must understand these things. Okay? They have profaned his name. You have profaned the name of Melchizedek, which is thought. We talk very little about Melchizedek. Melchizedek is known as the priest of the Most High God. He is the man. He is the priest. He's the one that is told that Jesus took the priesthood after. If you took a priesthood after somebody, then that means that person is greater. Come on. You took it after him? That means it's greater. I'm not downplaying Jesus, because Jesus was created by thought. He was part of thought creation through God. And we need to see that. Understand the mythology of the Egyptian mythology of Horus, thought. And the child, the Christ child. See, he's Horus, which we know in our day is Jesus. And we need to see this and go in this and understand it. Please, people, you need to start getting a little bit more understanding, because it's very important right now. It's extremely important right now. I'm not taking away from this audience. This audience, I believe, for them to hang in here with this long of a time like it is, and understanding this stuff is deep, people. This stuff is deep. I ain't gonna sit there and lie to you. The ones that hang in here to know this, oh, they deep. They deeper than anybody else out there. This is deep stuff. You're on the borderline of the 4th-5th dimensional teaching. A lot of times I'm crossing over in the field, coming back to the lower 4th, meaning the lower, middle, and upper 4th, so you could understand what I'm saying. But this stuff is deep, people. This ministry bringing you thought right out of the Bible. Think about it now. This ministry is bringing you thought right out of the same Bible you've been studying for years, and you didn't see it. Why? Timing. Number one, the timing. The fullness of the gospel, timing. The timing. The message and the messenger. These things are important to know. Very important to understand. Now, you're going to say, they have profaned his name. We have profaned his name. And the heathens shall know thought. The heathens shall know thought. That means all people are going to know thought, going to hear about thought. Thought is going to be a big deal in this time in the near future. Big deal. They're going to be talking about thought. They're going to start finding out that, hey, this thing is real that they're hearing from us. And they're going to know thought. I am the Lord, said the Lord God. So who is thought? He is the Lord God. And people don't understand. What is the word God? God is the word for netta. And people don't understand that the Greek word for netta was God. That's what they call God. They have a name for netta because netta was so too broad for them. See, to know what these individuals are from Egypt, Thought and some of the other ones, they are too broad. Thought is the chief of the letters. I mean, he has power with God in many different ways. Nature, science, I mean, a real genie. Thought is real, people. He's Melchizedek. What did the scripture say of Melchizedek? He had no mother, no father, no beginning, no ending. So what is that? God created himself and let himself come to you through Melchizedek. And they wanted to make it seem like he did that through Jesus. No, he brought Jesus along through Melchizedek. But Melchizedek come through God, the Almighty. And Isaiah speaks of how God formed him as a man, God. And we need to understand that. Now, he's going to say, I am the Lord. And let me read this over. I want you to get this I want you to get this. You need this, okay? My great name, which was profaned among the heathens, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. This is talking about everybody now. God's chosen people and the ones that's not God's chosen people. So he ain't leaving none of them out. And I had to read that so you know where this is all inclusive now. It's all inclusive. All inclusive now. Jews and Gentiles, chosen and not chosen. It's all inclusive now. And we need to understand that. He said, I am the Lord. He said, thought. I am the Lord, said the Lord God. When I when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. See, you got to bring our thought to the masses of the people. You got to know the power of thought. You got to feel thought present in your life. You got to see the good things that thought will do to you or for you so he can do it to others as well. You got to be the broadcaster to let them know about thought. So you got to try thought. You got to try thought in all the different ways of your life so you could gain those blessings that God wants you to have so you could go back and tell other people about how thought have blessed you. And you need to know that. Why? Why is that so important? Because if you go back in history and you read about Ptolemy the First, and he had a son known as Ptolemy the Fourth, and you hear a quote that he made, he will tell you, he was a Greek, they had pushing Serapis at that time, but he will say that, and he left this behind. Thought healed me. And this is what the emperor said, thought healed me. Now, when you get an emperor to stand up, although his daddy brought Serapis, but he come out and tell you about thought, that should tell you something, people. That should let you know something how important thought is. Not only is he important to an emperor, he's important to these hierarchy. He's very important to them. And they know about him, but they're not going to teach you about him because they want to keep you in that loop that they done put you in, on that treadmill that they done put you in. And they keep you on that and keep you away from the truth and then keep you into that lie or the deception. Then they got you always in a voluntary slavery, always at their command, always when they need you, you are there. And you got to change that now. You got to change that. For I will take you from among the heathens and gather you out of all. Now they got countries there. Take the R out of there, people. America don't have, America is counties. Now we have states, but America have counties all over this nation. And we are in one county or the other. Okay? And we'll bring you into your own land. Now, we know that for God and for thought to come about in that period of time, that quick period of time that's necessary, we know that there got to be a migration. Now, first, this migration is mental. Mental. What's a migration is? A migration when they pull up from one area and go to another area. When they pull up from one state of mind and put another state of mind in there. See, they never had thought. The Gentiles, neither the chosen ones, never had thought, so they got to put thought in there. And you're migrating from this mind that they have in you, all this Eurocentric belief and this thing that they done told you, made Jesus the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and all this other stuff, made Serapis, who is Serapis from the Greeks, be Jesus and be God and be Yahshua and all this other stuff. See, that stuff you got to find out about, and that you got to get rid of that. You got to understand that Jesus is a heartfelt. Jesus is in heaven. He always been in heaven. He's Horus. He couldn't come down in 2000 or 2,000 years ago because that was the dark age. And he was to rule the age of light. So they made up a story for you. You got to understand the procession of the equinox. You got to understand that in Taurus, in Aries, and in Pisces, that's the dark age. That's the age that's left for Satan to dominate, or self to dominate. Okay? And Horus is to dominate the age of light. So this is the time when Horus, through his messenger, must come down to earth and tell you about the heartfelt Jesus that's up in heaven that hands his crown down to mankind, to a messenger, a prince, a individual, so he could lead God's people in the law and the knowledge of unity with integrity. You must go into this age of light with unity, with integrity. It's very important. Now, what I'm going to do in this migration, in this great migration, it's going to start mentally by people learning about thought, and then they're going to begin to understand the other writings of thought in the Bible, and they're going to understand that the land of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida are the lands that God had picked out for that certain nucleus of people, chosen people, black folks, and some white folks going to be there as well, and some others, okay? Because they're going to open up to thought. You're going to have many people start opening up to thought, and they're going to believe in this messenger, and they're going to move forward. So you got to understand that, because black folks, you profane his name, and they did too. So you can't come act like, oh, you've been so holy, and you didn't, because you didn't call him thought. You didn't see Melchizedek, who Melchizedek really is. You did not. See, I grew up in that environment. I grew up in that Baptist, that Pentecostal, that Mormon, that Seventh-day Adventist, that Jehovah's Witness, in that whole environment. Yeah, I grew up in that. And some of them other ones, I grew up in that environment, and I know that thought would never been taught. No, none of them. None of them. And so when people say, well, I knew that, yeah, okay, whatever. But don't kid yourself. We need to be real here. And we're going to get into this part of Nostradamus. Nostradamus, century 2, quarter 28. Second to the last of a prophet name. We'll take Diana Day, the moon day, as his day of silent rest. He will travel far and wide in his drive to infuriate, delivering a great people from subjection. Now, if you got a great God, the great name, you need a great people. See, and there's a great peoples among these peoples in America that God is going to deliver because he's great. So this great name God, which is thought, is going to show the people who fathering this ideology that they're going to be able to move in such of a way that God is going to let them be a light to the world. You're going to be a light to the world, my people. God wants you to be a light to the world. And you're going to be that light, the ones who want to be in that right path. You're going to be that light. And we will see this. Now, why do I bring this up? I bring this up because you need to know that this ministry is written in many different writings of the past. This writing of Nostradamus is almost 500 years ago, 400 something years ago. And you need to know that he wrote about this, okay? Second to the last of a prophet name. This person in there, and you studied the book, John Hogarth book, that he bring out the new spiritual leader, and he have all these different guys, and he try to match them up and stuff. One of the last one he tried to match up in that book, in that writing. I think he left Moon out. Then later he tried to bring Moon into the picture and think he was, but all them gurus, all of them died and went on. So ain't none of them gurus been who he wanted to be or nobody else wanted to be. And they still trying to match up them gurus right now with this person right here. But I tell you right here, he's standing in front here. And you can't match something up that don't supposed to fit. This is supposed to fit. All the things that's talking about this person supposed to fit. Second to the last of a prophet name. Why would they say that? I'm second to the last person in my family. The last person had the prophet name Isaiah. An angel came to my mother and told my mother that my baby brother named supposed to be Isaiah, and my mother named my brother Isaiah because she was that type of lady called, name was Miss Purvis. She was that type of lady that when Miss Purvis come and tell you God says something, you better put your foot on it. You're gonna see it come to pass. And that's the type of lady she was. And I respect her even today, and she done passed away. And that's how he got that name, and that's how I get to be second to the last of a prophet name. It's saying going to take Diana Day as his day of silent rest. Now, you got to understand Nostradamus' writing. Nostradamus wrote in what we call a portion of, he wrote it cryptic, but his scholarly knowledge was from Hebrew typology. You know that he was a converted Jew, or he was a Jew, Hebrew, as they say. And you need to understand that he was scholarly, so he knew about certain things, so knew how certain writings go. And you're going to see that. But also, he said he will infuriate travel. And anytime you're trying to teach this, anytime you are teaching this, teaching about thought, and you're not teaching the old way that they teach you about Jesus and all this, you're teaching about how thought is the Savior, and you're going to infuriate people. The Christian right, the Christian they trying to still push that, all that other stuff, and that Armageddon and all this other stuff. They ain't looking at that. They still talking about Jesus died on the cross and that he was buried for 3 days and he rose again. Okay, that's what they're teaching you. They're teaching you the dark age teaching that came about during the time of Pisces, the great deception that the Catholic Church and the Roman government itself, the Roman hierarchy brought into play. People like the Alexanders, the Flavors, Josephus, also Titus and his father, Mathathium, something like that. See, these individuals, them families got together and gave you that story because the Greeks before then got together and gave you that story. And remember, Rome language was Greek. They still was teaching the Greek culture, the Greek philosophy came all the way down into Rome. Rome was very new, so they borrowed their stuff from the Greek. And see, most people don't know that. They need to understand that most peoples in Rome spoke Greek, not all this other language, not Hebrew. If you was a Jew in there, you spoke Greek. You didn't speak much Hebrew like people may think they did. And you need to understand this. Now, the reason I'm showing it is because over here, let's match it up. It must match up. If you say that, okay, you got to be more than just second to the last in the family. You got to be a little bit more than that. You got to bring us a little bit more than that. The reference in the first line of century 2, quatrain 28, seemed to infer that the new spiritual leader has a name related to the moon. For example, the word Diana could be changed to Artemis. Let's deal with it. Okay, now, the reason I'm bringing you this is because some people may say, darn, he keep talking about this Lewis. But you have no idea how important this name is. It ain't just a person. This name is written in history. This name was done before I was born. See, this stuff here about Nostradamus, that was over 400 something years ago. This Bible was written in the 1600s, but the material that they got from this Bible was over 2,000 years ago, my people, some of it 2,000 years ago. So the reason I'm telling you this is because it's crucially important for you to understand this. Because that name is the deliverance name that most people's who are going to walk with unity and integrity, that ideology, that Lewisism, that they're going to be able to learn about, that's what they're going to follow. Because if you don't follow this Lewisism, what the Catholic Church going to do and the Crown going to do, they're going to try to force a Lewis on you, and they're going to come with a philosophy with that Lewis, and they're going to try to engulf you and keep you in a voluntary slavery. And God don't want that because this is the age of Aquarius. It's the age for you to rise out of that condition. And we need to understand that. Now, Lewis, when I wrote this, I went through a situation at the time and I was really not feeling good because I had a friend that say, look, man, you need to drop this thing. You need to don't do this. They're a good friend. They meant well. You need to drop this thing. You need to quit being a vegetarian. Oh man, this stuff is some of it is out there and you ain't put it all together and this and that and that. And yes, at that time I was new to a lot of this stuff. I hadn't been a vegetarian no more than a year. That's been 23 years ago. I hadn't been a vegetarian no more than a year. And I was reading the Nostradamus stuff. I was reading all this stuff in the Bible and I needed to know what was really going on. So I'm searching, trying to find myself. And so I asked God, I said, why I'm going through this? Why I'm feeling this pressure like this? I didn't know this ride is supposed to be filled with pressure. I thought I was supposed to learn this stuff and keep on moving on. But boy, I had a surprise. And what I did, I got in the car and I went for a ride. And when I went for that ride, I talked to God. And I said, God, if this ain't for me to walk in this path, if this not for me, God, please deliver me from this. And people, I was saying it from the heart. I really was saying it from the heart heartfelt prayer. And when I was saying that, still voice came to me and said, I'll tell you what, okay? It's one of them clues you haven't found out yet. The one that deals with the name related to the moon. If your name is not related to the moon, you could go back and eat your meat. You could go back and do what you've been doing. But if your name is related to the moon, you need to do God's will. And I said to myself, okay. Because in my mind, I can see no related to no moon nowhere. Okay? I seen Louis Jerome Armstrong. I ain't seen no moon nowhere. Nothing at all. in my mind to tell me that. So I'm finna get to the point where, okay, maybe I can just drop this in, just be like I used to be and all this other stuff. And but something came, when it came to me, when I write my name, I never forget, I stopped and I started writing my name on this piece of paper, you know. And I was about to write it, and it said, no, I need you to write your name with every letter, the last letter, underneath each other. That's what it told me to do, and that's what I did. And when I did that, I seen these two auras pointing at moon, M-O-O-N. And when it was pointing at this moon, then it said, now, do God's will. See, that was a testimony to let me know that it was more to it than what I had learned, and God just gave me a little more knowledge in the area that I needed to be in so I could be able to hold on to it more and let me know and let me feel God's presence with me. People, I felt better then, but then what he did, he let me take the name Ultimus, the one that deal with Diana. Take the name Ultimus, and he said, I want to show you something else. I want to show you something else. Let's get this moon God thing going so you can see where you've been and where you at. And so I took this name, Ultimus, and I put the name there, and I know about Hebrew typology because God permitted me to learn about Hebrew typology. And the first thing I seen Lewis. I seen the T, and to take that off the T and put that like that. Come on, my people, let's see it like it is now. Let's be honest with ourselves. And I see the T there. I brought the E down. I seen the M. Okay, that was easy because the M, turn it over, you get the W. You bring the I down, you bring the S down, and it's Lewis. See, God did not want me to be misunderstood, and he wanted you to know who you're dealing with, but he wanted me to know who I was dealing with as well. Dealing with God, the Almighty. This is the true path, my people. This is the true path. When I did that, I said, okay, got the Lewis. Then some say, let's do it like Nostradamus, do it all the way now. Let's deal with it. Take that last name. I took the last name, and I seen the A. I brought the A down. I seen the aura. I brought the aura down. And I said, well, okay. I got the M. I brought the M over there. I seen the S. I brought it over there. I got the T. I brought it over there. I brought the R. I brought it over there. And that's with Louis Armstrong. Nostradamus leave a couple of his letters, 2 to 3 of his letters off, just like Nostradamus do. That was enough for me to see Armstrong. But he took it a little further. He said, wait a minute now. You ain't over with now. You ain't over with now. He gave me Jerome. Take this here. Turn this around. You get the J. Get the E. Put the E there. Take the R there. Okay, you got the O. Leave the O out. Take the M there. And take the E there. Oh, leave the O out. Well, you can make it with that, but don't worry about it. Leave it out. Don't you have Jerome? Louis Jerome Armstrong is in the moon name. And see, this is what I'm trying to bring to you. I'm not trying to boast and put myself on my platter. I'm trying to tell you people that this thing been written before I was born. This thing been talked about before I was born. And I'm trying to tell you what God done showed his many prophets, and he wants you to know, and he wants you not to profane his name. He wants you to walk into his name, and he wants you to walk into the joy of the Lord that this Aquarian age is about to bring you. People, this is a fifth dimensional consciousness, this Aquarian age. You're going to move up. God is going to move you up. So when I break this Hebrew typology down to you, this is on a high level consciousness here. This is not for you to just sit there and, people put and say, well, I can't see that. No, open your eyes. Open your eyes. Even when the Jews use the word Jewish, open your eyes, people. Take that J, turn it around. J-E-W-I-S, L-E-W-I-S. Come on, my people. Who you have chosen. They have talked about these as being the chosen people, and they say Jewish. So what is they trying to hide you when they talk about Louis? Louisism. It's a philosophy that is to come to you. It's a teaching that is to come to you so you will know about God. So you can walk in God in this Aquarian age. So you can be the people that God wants you to be. That you can follow those 5 divine laws. That you will take democracy and see it as it really is, people. You need to know democracy as it really is. And know what you can do and why he put you in this nation where they display democracy. Come on now. You need to see what the founding fathers was all about so you can know what does say the Lord. Now let's deal with this, Isaiah 42:1. And I don't mean to holler. I got to kind of get out of that habit. But sometimes I get excited knowing that God really wants you to be delivered. And no matter how powerful the aristocrats may be, the hierarchy, what kind of things, God controls all this stuff. He could take, he could give, he could take away, people. They got no power to stop you from being where God wants you to be at. They can't stop God, my people. You can't see him, but he's here. And I'm trying to show you the prophets of old gave writing so you'll know that he's constantly right here working with you. So you'll know that God is real. He's very real. Isaiah 42:1. Behold my servant whom I uphold, my elect, in which my soul delighteth. Now this is the initiate's writing. Okay. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. Now, what do you mean by that? Bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. Okay. First, that event got to happen in America. And what is judgment? See, a judgment is left up to how God chooses a judgment to be. See, some people may say, well, oh, God just destroyed them. God destroyed it. Sometimes you got to understand, if God destroyed that and you connected to that, that's going to bring you down. So he can't always come and tear that down and then you be tore down at the same time when he's supposed to be bringing blessings to you. So that judgment got to be carefully understood from a fifth dimensional consciousness, not a third and fourth dimensional consciousness, not a war dimensional consciousness. We're in this age of Aquarius, so we got to figure out how to do things more intellectually, but make it happen. And we need to understand that. What is that? He got to bring them into the correct thinking, ideology of God. He got to bring them away from that ideology of Serapis into the ideology of thought. So we got to bring them that. See, when you study the ideology of thought, you're going to learn how to live longevity. Read the Emerald Tablets, how he tells you how you sleep at night. That you go have a bed where you could have your bed turned north and south, and a certain number of time you sleep with your head to the north, and a certain number of time you sleep with your head to the south. He tell you the different things that you would eat so you could be healthy and so you could be able to live that longevity, because thought in this fifth dimensional age of Aquarius is going to cause you to live as long as they did during the time when they were down here. Understand this thing now. I want y'all to see this. You got the precession of the equinox. Okay. Over here, you got the dark age, you got the bronze age, you got the silver age, and then you got the gold age that come around like that. You got Aquarius, you got Sirius coming the same speed at the same time. Okay, coming there and make that loop. When you make that loop, they make that loop. Okay, and you got to see that. But right now, you coming out of this dark age time, the age of Taurus, the age of Aries, and this age of Pisces. Now, when you see this, I want you to see this now, because you got to use your mind so you can see this procession. Down here, right in that corner, before you go into that dark age, in that bronze age, that was the time of Noah. And Noah was going into the dark age, and so that's why men was getting wicked, because you were going to the dark age. And not only you getting wicked, you were losing your longevity. So man, God said, the scripture say, well, I'm going to let y'all live 120 years. Then some, and I'm saying, I'll let you live 70 to 80 years. Then you back to 120. See, people don't understand that. The ones at 120 at Taurus, when they got back, coming back up at Pisces, they could live up to 120 again. And that's where some people could live up to 120 years if they eat properly. But what is happening is that you're finna cross over into Aquarius now. So you done went through Taurus, Aries, and Pisces. You finna go over into Aquarius. And Aquarius, and the time of Noah, is the same time, as above, so below. Gemini and Aquarius carry the same time. That means you will live for 1,000 years. Some of you gonna live for 1,000 years, and you ain't gonna look like no 1,000-year-old person. Your age is gonna go up to about 70, and then you're gonna come down to about 35. The heavenly time, must be like the earthly time, and the earthly time must be like the heavenly time. And when you're in a fifth dimensional consciousness, you're in a heavenly time. So that means that you're going to live long, people. And they ain't teaching you this. They let you eat all kind of crap. They ain't trying to get you to start seeing the Bible the way it is and what you need to eat, the way your mind, your consciousness is supposed to be thinking. Because if you got your conscience right, you got it right with God, with God the Almighty. You got it right. You're going to be able to live more healthier. You're going to live more longer. You're going to live that longevity. You're going to live that life that he told to Abraham. Go to thy fathers in peace, that's in the age of Aquarius, and live and be buried at a good old age. A good old age. That means you're going to be old, but you're going to look good. How about a 130-year-old man looking like he's 35? A 130-year-old woman looking like she's 35. See, that's going to happen. The universal order demands it, my people, and God is going to bring it about. You ain't been hearing this kind of teaching. See, they tell you once an adult, twice a child. Yeah, the third and lower fourth dimension, but not in no fifth dimension. It ain't no once an adult and twice a child. It's once a child and twice adult. Because you're going to go from 70 and on up there, you're going to come back down to 35. You're not going to go back like a child. You're going back to 35. That's why when people have a near-death experience and they go to the other side for a brief period of time, they see everybody looking no more than 35 to 40 years old, people. That's why that heavenly time is going to be here. That's why the scriptures say, for the kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of our Lord and his Christ. See, heaven, Jerusalem, that type of leadership, that type of judge, and that type of rule got to come back to this earth. Okay? That kind of lifestyle and the way that they live, longevity, got to come back to this earth. What did the scripture say in the Lord's Prayer? Thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Come on, my people. Look at it, and you can understand this. Now, let's deal with this. We'll go a little further in this because you need to see this. And he's going to say, and the Lord have called thee in righteousness. See, this is a true path here, the path of righteousness that you're learning about. And will hold thy hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles, to the Gentiles. See, this doctrine, this Lewisism, this Hebrew typology that's coming forth to you. See, this Lewisism, it's going to be named, I might well say what it is, this Lewisism. That's why I've been showing you Lewis so many times. That's why you had the French dynasties and stuff, had all them Louis at that time. They was trying to create that before time, people. That's why they call Louis XIV the Sun King. Check me, and you'll see. And all of them all the Louis was named by the intervening of the Vatican. By the intervening of the Vatican. Come on now. Understand where this thing came from. It started from Clovis. You got to understand the mythology of the Florida list. There's a lot of things you got to understand when you get in this arena, my people. And you need a messenger to guide you through this so you can see this. You need to see it, my people. You can't just read the Bible. You got to translate it. And you can't translate it unless you chose it. So it's time for us to wake up from this, on call, are you chosen? Okay? You need to be chosen for this hour, people. This is no joke. Now, America, let's deal with America. I want to deal with America. American system is not practicing true democracy. Now, people may hear say, we're not practicing true democracy because this is why they're going to have a migration. You're going to have a migration because mankind got to practice true democracy. There's nothing wrong with democracy. What they done, they done put corporate capitalism in with democracy and done messed it all up. And they ain't trying to walk in there. They got some people that still think they could do and manipulate the masses of the peoples, and all that done creeped in and done messed things up. But democracy, people, democracy is right on time. See, what you not got to have with democracy, and this is the Crossrock motto, is unity with integrity. That's what you got to have with democracy, unity with integrity. And you got to understand that. What is democracy? A system of government by the whole population. Let's don't go no further right now. Let's deal with that. A system of government by the whole population. Now, right now, is America is practicing a system of government by the whole population? No, it's not. So what that means? You need a migration. You need to bring the people together that's supposed to be the peoples of God. They need to come together in the location. We have said North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, but we need to come together in a location and build that nucleus so the rest of the world, the rest of the United States, the rest of the world will be able to beat to the drum of God the Almighty. We need to do that, my people. Now, but we need to bring democracy, true democracy, not fascism, not Marxism, but true democracy. And democracy need to be defined not by the ones who've been trying to run things in the past. You need to drain the swamp. Democrat and Republican Party, no, you need to drain the swamp. They've been draining their things because the corporate interests write the laws and write the legislation and hand it to them, and they bring it forth. So you don't need that no more. You need to get rid of them. By most all them people, you need to get rid of them. You need to put some new people in there. You need to put people in there with the right state of mind, with the mind on true democracy, with unity and with equality. If they ain't got unity and equality with this group here, what to say, the whole population? If they ain't concerned about the whole population, if their legislation ain't written for the whole population, you need to get rid of them. You need to get rid of them. Those are the ones that you don't need. And you need to see this. Now what they say, the whole population are, remember this word are all the eligible, now watch this, eligible members of a state. Now, some people will characterize that and look at that person, that group as the electoral college type people. The ones that done stuck in between. Hillary Clinton could have 3 million votes more than Donald Trump. And they put Donald Trump in there because they weren't concerned about the whole population, okay? They was more concerned about all the eligible members of a state. You know, come on. This got to be corrected, my people. Now, I do know in this, you got this Masonic thing in this, where some of them, I believe that they may know enough knowledge in order to know that Donald Trump fit the mythology and Hillary did not fit the mythology. And if Donald Trump fit the mythology and Hillary did not fit the mythology, and the mythology come from a fifth dimensional consciousness, ain't nowhere in the hell you're going to put Hillary Clinton in there. I don't care how many people voted for her. It can't happen like that, people. You want me to tell you the truth, or you want me to lie to you? That's a part that you got to understand. Now, you could take this member, you could take the electoral college, and you could do some things wrong with it as well. Not that that person don't supposed to be there, but you don't push the agenda for what that person supposed to be in the will of God, in a fifth dimensional consciousness that we are walking in right now. If you don't do that and you let him try to satisfy the corporate agenda, that corporate capitalism, then you done went wrong again. See, when you find out when the president brought the New Deal in and all that, you got to understand that you had fascism beating on America door, want to be a part of the voting process. You had communism beating on the door, want to be part of the process, and you had a couple more out there. And what it was, they were gaining ground. And so what it is, the president had to make some kind of deal with them. Hey, y'all come in here. Let's come in here. Let's. What do you really want? What do you really want? You know, in the socialism part of it, what do you really want? They said, what we want for the people, we want Social Security for it. That's how you got Social Security, people. Medicaid, that's how you got Medicaid. And some of the other governmental programs that came to you. You had some people coming with other programs, coming with other ways of voting. They came with other parties, and what they did, they pushed the legislation, they pushed the idea that if you don't, we're going to maintain and take this power, and we're going to do it ourselves. So what happened? The president then wanted them to go away, so they made certain things come into play. And they promised certain things. And that's how you got Social Security, people, because if it wasn't for that change reaction, it wasn't for those people that was concerned about this here, the whole population. If they didn't have people that was concerned about the whole population, then you would not have Social Security. You would have to take care of your own mom and dad, and people would have been in a terrible, elderly people would have been in a terrible shape, and they wouldn't be doing what the scripture said. Take care of the elderly, and the widows, and the orphans, and all the others. That group of people was concerned about that, and they pushed the issue. They didn't sit on their behinds. They kept pushing it, until the system had to give in and give you some rights. Because if they did not, then you'd have been worse off. And what they have done lately, in the last so many years since Social Security, they trying to take it where they got the military industrial complex and some of the other budget things, trying to draw it from the elderly people. And the elderly people ain't got no money to take care of themselves, giving an elderly person a $700 check a month. You need your behind whoop system. And you talking about you a democracy. And you talking about you following God. Come on, people. Y'all need to turn out these churches if you're not going to teach the right thing. You in the churches, and your grandmama and that person granddad and that person uncle and that person aunt, they're catching hell. And all you concerned about is you're going to be resurrected and you're going up to another place somewhere in the sky and be caught up in the air and all this nonsense, and don't realize it got to be translated, and you teaching that garbage and talking about you following God. Come on. Ain't nothing but heathens doing that. You got to quit being a heathen and learn the truthisms of God. It's necessary now, my people. It is necessary. And you need to see that. Democracy is about true democracy. You cannot take the word unity. Unity, what is that? The whole population. Unity with integrity. And that's what America needs, so America be this empire that it'll dominate world affairs. That's what America needs. You need that leadership up there to feel this from the heart. That's what's going on. Time to do a little bit more than drain the swamps, my people. You need to do a little bit more. You got to do something yourself now. You got to participate. You can start by sending them nickels and dimes and quarters and 50 cents and $10 and $30 and $50 and $100, $1,000, whatever you need. Send it here. We are here to do the will of God for all of God's people. And y'all need to see that. Y'all need to start representing an organization who have a heart for you. Believe that you are who God has said you are. You're great people that need to be with a great God with a great name. And that's what you're all about, and that's what you need to see. Now, what do they say? Okay, then they say, typically, through elected representatives. Okay, now, it's all right to have elected representatives if they are working for the whole of the population. People, you need checks and balances. You need to know whether or not these people are working for you or they're passing laws for corporate interests. You need to know that. You need to understand that. I'm going to tell you something. Corporate capitalism is a scorn on our nation. You need to study people. They say, well, you could be rich one day. You could be a billionaire one day. You could be this. People ain't but a handful. Squeeze through there and get there, and you don't really need to, you don't need to worry about all that. If you get to be a billionaire, get to be a billionaire. But don't sit there and worry about it, because a billionaire is going to become a billionaire anyway. Really. Because he got it in him to be what he is. But he got to be wise enough to help his people at the same time. And not step on their neck trying to get there. And some of them have stepped on the neck trying to get there, because capitalism is about labor. Okay? It's about labor and cost. And they want the labor cost to always be at that lower level so the profit margin could be great. And they're going to hire the ones that they needed. That's why they took the factories from America and took them to Mexico, and from Mexico took them over to China, because they kept getting that cheaper labor cost. And it fueled democracy more and more. And it took it from one area into another area. And right now, our people are suffering from not having these good jobs that Detroit used to bring in. And people had a good retirement with it. And these cities used to have all this booming stuff. But they done took it out and shipped it abroad. And then they talking about this is democracy. And we love our nation and we love our people. But you the same ones that passing legislation or permitting legislation to be passed to hurt these peoples right here. And God is tired of it, and he is not going to have it no more. It's time for that change, people. It's time for a migration. A mental migration, and then a physical migration as need be. You need to unify yourself and have integrity. And let's see this. American system of rule must partake in conscious, spiritual, and the political rule. So you must participate now. You must do more than just go to the poll and vote. Oh, just go to the poll and vote. People, I can tell you who's going to be president before you're going to be president. You ain't got to, I'll tell you before time. You just study this art that we show on the election. You're going to know that you can tell who's going to be president before they're going to be president. You can tell who's going to be mayor before they're going to be mayor. So I don't need you to tell me. I need you to tell me how to take this knowledge that I know when I know that one person is going to win, how to jam that legislation under his behind or her behind, that they could be able to do the things they need to do for the whole population. That's what we need to be doing. Pushing legislation into their arena, blowing up their phone, blowing up their attention so they can see that, hey, we there. And we don't have to do it violently. We have to do it with our mind, my people. We got to use this conscious mind that thought have given us, that we can move things in the right direction. Let's look at it. Isaiah 42, 19 through 21. Who is blind but my servant? In other words, who? My servant? Thought is saying, I send one, so you think he don't know the path? You think he can't see the path? Who is blind but my servant? You think he's blind? No, he's not blind, because thought brought him forth a deaf. As my messenger, thought I sent. Listen to thought talking to you. My messenger? You call him deaf? He can't hear from me? God forbid. Who is blind as he? Thought is perfect. So if thought is perfect, his messenger is perfectly to know what the will of thought is, that he could deliver to the masses of God's people. And we need to see this. Thought is perfect and blind as the Lord's servant? Come on. Thought saying to yourself, come on. I know what I'm doing. I sent the messenger. The messenger is here to give you the truth. This is the path, people. This is the true path that you must follow. Seeing many things, but thy observer not. Open the ears, but he heareth not. The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. What are we talking about? We're talking about democracy. We must magnify democracy, people. We must spread true democracy all over the world, my peoples, through this American empire. True democracy, my people. We must spread democracy with two things. This is the thing. Unity with integrity. That's true love. We must. The scriptures say this. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. There's nothing wrong with democracy. There's something wrong with democracy when it's tied into corporate capitalism. You done brought Goliath on the scene. Capitalism is the Goliath. The Goliath. Democracy and the messenger is the David. The stone that David got out of water. 5 stones there, people. Political is one of the stones. Political is a law of God. There's 5 laws of God. Moral, economic, social, political, and dining appetite. Those are the 5 divine laws of God. David went in the water and got a stone out of there. And where did the stone hit Goliath at? He hit him in his morals, in his head. Why? Because that stone was for that. To knock some sense into capitalism. To let capitalism know that you can no longer keep our peoples in a voluntary slavery. There are alternatives. And we must understand. Systems are built, they flourish, and they die. Capitalism have been built, and it have flourished, and it's time that it's going to die. Because it refused to understand the will of the whole population. And this is important. Now, we need to see this, we need to know this, and it's very important, and I know that some of these lectures are different, but it must go into these areas so you can understand God's will. See, God is a God that deals with the grassroots and everything else. He's from one end of the world to the other, from one situation to the other, and it's order to it. It's a path to it, and you need to see the path, and God have anointed me, have called me to walk in that path and show others the path. And we need to see this. Now, I'd like you to send your donation to Louis Armstrong Ministry, 7536 Jana Lane North, Jacksonville, Florida, 32210. Cross Rock Incorporated. You can send it at the same address, 7531 Jana Lane North, Jacksonville, Florida, 32210. And you could go on the mobile app and give LaFi and under charitable, and you could send a donation that way as well. Also, like I say, we asked it for 30 more peoples, and these peoples aren't coming fast, so I need y'all to help out. We need 30 more peoples to donate $500 so their name could be written in the book that we have, Hidden Secrets, and it have a lot of knowledge that I have taught, but have a lot of things I haven't taught, and some of the things that I have taught to take you to another level of consciousness with it, where I can't just talk about it in an hour segment or 45 minutes an hour segment. So I need to be written in a chapter of a book, so you could take it at your leisure and read that book, and you could be able to research and know more than what you ever do before, and understanding the will of God and understanding thyself. It's very important for that. And so, like I say, we need 30 more people to send $500 donation and help out with this book, and you will get your name in it. And some of them, I'm going to request that someone want to write a little segment of something that they want to write within about 2 lines or something. They could write that, and we will put that under their name, with their name, and they'll be able to make a statement, and they'll be able to be, partake in this. And we want that. We want you to partake in this work. We want you to be a part of this work. We want you to give and help back this, that you could see yourself as being a part of this whole. People, God has prepared this ministry. This ministry is in the Bible. A lot of people, they look at our design and they say, man, that's Masonic. That's a square and a compass. Come on. The ones that say that, I don't think you know much about Masonic order, because a square and a compass look like a square and a compass, not a square and a square. But I'm not here to beat on you. I'm just letting you know. When you look at this, don't say square and compass, okay? Because most people hear you leave a comment like that, they don't think you so bright in your knowledge, okay? So we ask the people who be on our sites, we're asking you to use integrity, use your knowledge, just try to be bright. Even if you don't like certain things, say it in a bright way. Don't say it in a dull, negative way. And that's what we need to understand. And a lot more I want to say about this Rising Sun, Cross Rock Incorporated, and some things I want to reveal to you all at a later date. But right now, I'd like to say a prayer. And in that prayer, I ask God the Almighty. I know some people think that I talk about thought a lot, but thought is the one name supposed to come forth now, who's known as Melchizedek. God, you the one created Melchizedek. You shaped and formed Melchizedek. You made him be a priest of yourself, of the Most High God. And Melchizedek brought forth from the Egyptian mythology Horus, which is known as Jesus. And you, dear Father, and Jesus brought forth the messenger. And I thank God for being in the front of the masses of God peoples coming at this time of human history that have been written about thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago. God, help the people. Help the people see you. Help the people feel thy blessings in everywhere of their life. Bless their life, Father, that they could be able to know that you are constantly present there with them. Even when situations come and they don't see a way out, show them a way out. Make them feel good so when they see that way out, they'll think about you, God the Almighty. You're one with God. You're all in all. And we are to be one, connected to you and to the true Jesus. So Heavenly Father, bless us that we could be able to walk in that path in the true reality of life. And we say this and say amen, amen,